Greetings, glorious day to you from Vaughn at Spirit of Health. Today we are going to talk about constipation, and we want to deal with constipation through nutrition. We're specifically talking about the GAPS diet. So if you're prone to constipation, there's a way to handle it through nutrition. We want to talk about the specific foods that you want to consume to help alleviate that issue. Now, when it comes to the GAPS diet, of course, there's the introduction diet, all the stages, and then we have something called the full GAPS diet. And if you struggle with constipation, especially severe chronic constipation, you might want to consider the full GAPS diet, getting your constipation handled and under control before you kind of go back to the introduction stage. But we want to talk about the specific powerful foods, specifically the fermented foods that you can use to help with your constipation. Now let's start with the soup. Bone broth soup, an absolute staple of the GAPS diet. And if you deal with constipation, you can actually put some fibrous vegetables in your soup. So fibrous vegetables would be kale, would be celery, cabbage, carrots, broccoli, etc. And in this soup, looks like we have some carrots, we have some broccoli. So this would probably be a constipation-friendly type of soup. So after the soup, we want to add in some fermented foods that will assist with helping to have regular bowel movements. So a couple of the fermented foods we add one is sauerkraut juice, and this is actually the sauerkraut. So again, if you're on the full GAPS diet, you can start with these right away. The sauerkraut itself usually isn't until stage 4 of the GAPS diet, but for constipation it's extremely beneficial. Now what you'd want to do is you'd want to start kind of slow, just like you do with any of the fermented foods. Start with like a teaspoon a day of, say, the sauerkraut juice or the fermented veggies, the fermented sauerkraut, and you can increase that as much as a half a cup, even a cup a day. And that is really going to get those probiotics, those good bacteria in there, which really help promote normal bowel movements. After you introduce the fermented sauerkraut and sauerkraut juice, you can move on to fermented dairy. Now, of course, you want to do the sensitivity test just to make sure you handle the dairy okay. So again, you put that on the inside of your wrist, you go to bed at night, you wake up, if it's red, angry, irritated, you're not ready for it. The two we're going to talk about today is one is sour cream, and the other one is called kefir cream. And the reason these are recommended for constipation is because they're high fat. High fat lubricates the bowels, helps the constipation. High protein content you don't want to do with constipation because that can bind you up. So high protein would be too much meat, the yogurt, the kefir, the whey. Those you do not want to do with constipation. You want to focus on these right here that I'm showing you. Again, just to reiterate, sauerkraut juice, sauerkraut itself, sour cream, and kefir cream. And again, you want to start slowly and you want to continue to increase them as you tolerate them, and do about a half a cup to a cup of the fermented foods a day. You can do a combination of these. You can add them to your soups, whatever's best for you. But once your constipation is alleviated, you're starting to have normal bowel movements, things are working right, you can always go back to the introduction diet if you so desire. So we thank you for watching this GAPS video related to constipation. We hope that it helps the health of you and your family, and we will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.